So what's big in Australian comedy right now? Because we were big fans of The Castle and Kath and Kim that have come out in the last couple of years. What's really big over there at the moment, Tony?
Well, we have a guy called Chris Lilly is probably the biggest thing. I think you've had a show called Summer Heights High. Did you have that?
I think it is on,
speaking
yeah.
a different language, aren't I? No, well, that's probably the biggest thing in Australian comedy. I was in both those things you mentioned extremely briefly. That film, The Castle, I'm in it for literally 9 seconds.
That's right. Aren't you tall guy with glasses at the party?
I'm the son of the bloke who saves the day, the lawyer. And I'm actually talking to Eric Bana in that scene, and I'd never met Eric Bana. And lip readers have told me that I'm in that scene, I'm actually asking Eric Bana why his TV show was at. Apparently that's true. And in Kath and Kim, I have a beard, a false beard, so no one ever recognises me from that. But I just got back from England, and going through customs, we've arrived to make the cheapest show on the national broadcaster.
Yeah, but you say that, but you've got access to great guests, because obviously through doing brilliant radio work over the years, I mean, Rob Brydon and Bill Bailey and all those great people.
Alan Davies, Catherine Tate. It's a show called A Quiet Word, which is just
Keith Barron is still waiting for your call. Yeah,
I think he's outside that cafe in Hampton Court.
In his shorts.
Bottle of wine
what
open.
About the bloke who was Selwyn Froggatt in Owen? Is he still alive?
Selwyn
Can we get him, the man who was in Oh No, and
yes,
Selwyn Froggatt?
And I believe Olive from Reg Varney is still waiting for your call as well for the Reg special.
Ross Noble is one of these people who can tell you a fact and you never know if he's making it up or not. He claimed to me that Reg Varney was the first man to use an ATM in the UK.
Actually, this is true.
Who would make up something like that?
It's true, though.
Yeah, Reg Varney was the first man to use an ATM, a cash machine in this country.
It was somewhere in North London, and they needed it publicised by the biggest star of the day.
Right.
Obviously, that was Reg. Well, maybe Blakey wasn't available. But
no,
Blakey would have been furious.
He would forget his PIN number and go, "Don't cash out." That cash out of it.
Well, sadly, I couldn't get, because I'm sure Blakey's still alive. Stephen Lewis, he's still alive. I feel like I'm offending your listeners. Would he still be alive? Reg Varney, I know, has passed on.
We'll have to find out. I don't know.
Bill Maynard was in Selwyn Froggatt, and he is 82 and still going strong, Tony. You'd be glad to know.
Well, I would.
According to Wikipedia.
Selwyn Froggatt was a huge show when I was a kid. I think there might have even been a spin-off, wasn't there? Selwyn's Place?
Yes, that's right. There was a spin-off, yeah. It was better than Joey, the spin-off from Friends, which never really went anywhere.
A man who's visited England once knows more about British TV than we do.
Well, it's because New Zealand, growing up in New Zealand, Australians much more, you'll hear people with Australian accents on the TV, but it's only about 20 years ago that people started speaking on New Zealand TV with a New Zealand accent. Up till that, when I was a kid, a show would finish and a man in a tuxedo would come on with a spray of flowers next to him and go, "That was Z-Cars. Next up, it's Softly, Softly Task Force."
How does the UK... Sorry, carry on, Tony.
No, we got all of these English shows, but now I live in Australia and people don't know what I'm talking about.
And what were your impressions of coming to this country? Was it the first time coming to London?
I came to London once in 1991, and I always remember this. This is the attitude towards Australians. This is the first thing you notice when you arrive. There was a very sort of surly kind of customs official, and there were Americans in front of me, and he said to each one of them, "Right, and how long are you staying? Right, and how long are you staying?" And when I said I was from Australia, the wording changed to, "And when are you leaving?" And I thought that was just a subtle difference. But this time round, I had to get through customs. They go, "Right, why are you here? And if you've got a work permit?" I said, "I'm making a TV show." And the woman immediately goes, "Right, it's not Kath and Kim, is it?" Like everyone, like that's the only show that we make in Australia.
Your sole gross export is Kath and Kim, that's it, and Kylie.
But it was, we did a lot of episodes with a lot of your best comedy people, and they've come up great. Yeah.
I've now been handed a piece of paper, having talked about Reg Varney from On the Buses making the first use of
And this is
cash
BBC,
point.
where if you raise questions on the BBC, Tony, they have to be answered properly, or we get struck off.
Part of the charter.
The producer came in my ear and said, Ernie Wise made the first mobile phone call. And I turned round and made a rude gesture because I was like rubbish. And she's now brought in a printout from BBC News saying Britain's first mobile phone call was made on the 1st of January 1985 by Ernie Wise.
You're going to tell me Keith Barron sent the world's first tweet next?
I think he probably did.
John Inman split the atom.
I think that was episode 15. They never aired it. It was too rude for TV, Tony.
We split the atom.
So what have you got coming up this year then? Are you doing any more radio? People can download any podcasts or anything if they like what they hear this morning?
I've sort of our last show, which is called Get This, which is the one Ross Noble was a regular on.
Yeah, I heard those. You can still get those on iTunes. It's brilliant radio. Very good.
It's more popular now than when it was on, and it was axed, and I was sort of kind of blacklisted from radio. So I'm sort of doing TV shows. I'm doing Quiet Word, which has got a lot of very fine British comedians in. But here's what I'm doing. I'm doing a show much later in the year on a network called Channel 9, which are running promos at the moment, advertising themselves as the home of laughter.
Oh, is this where Ben Elton's doing his big new show?
That's right. So Ben Elton was axed after 3 episodes.
You're joking.
It was just caned to death. The ratings were terrible. The reviews were terrible. Everyone hated it. Twitter just got onto it and kicked it to death, quite unfairly in some ways. But the trouble is now everyone's going, right, who's next? Who's next on the Home of Laughter menu? And, of course, it's me and the bloke I do the show with, Ed. So we're waiting to be kicked to death next following Ben Elton, who's Australian now, I think.
That's right. You should call your series Kicked to Death, Tony. Just get a kind of preemptive strike.
But see, I think a lot of people in England wouldn't be aware that it is a tradition which Ben Elton is living up to of British comedians in their later years coming down to Australia and redoing their shows for Australian TV. The two Ronnies did the two Ronnies Down Under. Benny Hill came down and did Benny Hill Down Under. We had Are You Being Served? Down Under. Father Dear Father? Down Under. And Ben Elton is the we even had, I tell you what, do you remember Love Thy Neighbour?
Yes, yes, we do love Thy Neighbour. You're welcome to that. Please don't send it back.
They came down and did a series of that here, and I've never seen it, and I've always wondered, so hang on, what was the storyline? Did Eddie Booth and the bloke who lived next to him both, by coincidence, move to Australia and move into houses next door to each other?
I think it was as loose as that. Listen, Tony, thank you so much for talking to us all the way from Australia.
I'm sorry, I've waffled on.
No, you haven't. That's what this show is, to be honest. It's just us waffling for 2 hours. Tony, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Good luck with Kick to Death, your forthcoming TV show. We wish you all the best.